Ladies and gentlemen, it appears that the biggest rat, the god of unemployment, is back at it again, ladies and gentlemen. We've got none other than Who Sniper center stage on the screen. And I've heard that in this video over here, he can't, for some reason, he can't stop putting my name in his mouth. The video title is called, Do Gacha Content Creators Even Play Enough Gacha? Why don't we take some time to dive deep into what exactly this individual is spitting over here and break down whether or not his 2, 3, 4, however long it was break was enough to get his mind out of the gutter. Because all the trash is now off of his walls. Yeah, let me just give you all a bit of a refresher of what this guy's bedroom used to look like. That will probably help tee off the discussion over here if you're not too familiar with who this guy actually is. Yeah. Clearly, some big transformative things have gone on in this guy's life. It appears that he is improving for the better. Maybe his takes have as well. So why don't we go ahead? Why don't we give this guy a bit of a listen? We'll speed it up a little bit because I've been told in advance he kind of does get a little bit ranty in here. And let's check it out.
I've been side hustling for the last month and a half or so, going on 2 at this point. Food delivery to be specific. It's decent money and I've been putting in quite a few hours, so much so actually that it's cutting into the time I'd normally have to stream and make videos.
I'll start it off with 2 questions. Why has he still got the mustache? Second, who asked?
Shout out to all my god of unemployment haters out there, by the way. Maybe y'all can also move out of your parents' basements too one day. Anyway.
I do think it's a weird flex to brag about earning $48,000 a year. Because this is essentially 1 week of income. This is probably his best week of income. And so let's just assume that he does this every week, which I'm pretty sure he doesn't. 4 times a month, because there's 4 weeks in a month. 4,000 a month, that's $48K a year. Which is like not terrible, but it's also like, that's not like flex, that's not like flex money. 48K a year is not flex money to like start bragging about and then be like, ha, you losers. Look, I earned 48K. Okay, you know what? At least he has a job, right? This is better than being thousands of dollars in debt because you can't control your gacha spending. I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he is now employed. I just think this is a weird way to talk about it.
Unemployment haters out there, by the way. Maybe y'all can also move out of your parents' basements too one day.
Bro, is he serious? Bro, I'm sorry. This is just like, I cannot believe that those words are coming out of his mouth and he's saying it like that and then he's saying it to me. This is gonna be so hard. I'm only 20 seconds into the video and I cannot stop fucking laughing, man. Fuck!
Anyway, I've been on Twitter more frequently while I've been out there grinding, in between trips when, you know, I'm waiting for more orders to come in. So that's given me a chance to see what goes on in the mysterious, somewhat enigmatic, and half-delusional space known as Gacha Twitter. It's actually more like 3/4 delusional, but that doesn't really, you know, roll off the tongue as well.
You wanna know what does roll off the tongue? 3/4. Yeah, you probably didn't know that 3/4 could be called 3/4. It's what happens when you don't finish high school.
As you might expect, I found quite a few things I could talk about and turn into videos, including that whole gameplay depth drama / debate, whatever you want to call it, that went down between the Hoyotards and the Willicucks the other week, that Tectone drone on Twitter who goes by the name of, I am not shitting you, John Seaman, with apparently how much of Tectones he swallowed, and all the reactions to Psyche's disastrous Duet Night Abyss review. I do want to make videos on all those topics eventually, obviously.
He's too busy dropping off McDonald's orders to make those videos, so if they are delayed, that is the reason.
That's going to take me some time, so bear with me on that while I work on them. But for now, what I want to discuss here in this video is this. Why do gacha CCs not have the time or want to play more gacha? So here's the context. These are the 2 tweets that I came across while, going around side hustling.
Okay, so main topic of this video, outside of that crazy introduction that he did on his end, is he's making the claim that gacha CCs aren't playing their gacha games.
That got me wanting to talk about this. One by Jade Ali, not sure how to say her name, I'll just call her Jade, and 2 by Mr. Pokey. In her tweet, Jade says, feeling a bit overwhelmed with how many new exciting games are coming out, I can only play so many at once, crying emoji, and then she lists the games that she's currently playing, the ones she's on break from, and the ones she wants to play in the future, either games that are already out or not yet. The first tweet from Pokey reads, can we agree that CZN has one of the best gacha game balance in recent memory? You can literally run anyone with the right build. Tier lists are just for early game comfort, but all units have their own playstyles to get the job done. If I could, I'd level them all. Hail CZN. But a second one reads, I love CZN, but building units legit takes way too long. One of the main reasons why I think this is one of the best gachas in—
Does bro know how to structure a fucking video? Bro, bro's about to read off 3 separate tweets before explaining any of them. Bro about to read out 3 full fucking tweets before even describing why any of them are relevant to his discussion. Oh my fucking god.
Because of unit diversity.
Stay in school, kids. This guy has never written a 5-paragraph MLA essay in his fucking life, because if he did, this would not be the structure of the fucking video.
Unit can work more or less as long as you give them enough investment, but you still need to build them. Sadly, I can't explore as much as I'd like because a single unit to 60 is like 1 week's worth of stamina refresh, not including the gears. For example, this 590 pack isn't even remotely enough to take the unit from 50 to 60. You need multiples. Hope they give away more income.
He's still going!
Via events or daily farming stages. And because Styx is still being a prolapse on Twitter talking about things he has no idea about. I mean, to be fair, he's apparently built a career off doing that since his MMO days from what I've been told. I'll throw his ass under the bus here again. Remember my last video about the GFL2 skin drama, right? Where I questioned whether or not Styx ever did play GFL2 outside of his sponsor streams? Well, let's just go ahead and chalk that up to him either straight up not playing or, having some account manager do that shit for him. Basically, seeing all this got me wanting to talk about how—
So I guess his take is that people don't have good takes about games if they don't play them for 30 hours a day like he does. So one of the big things that Tohu Sniper can't stop fucking talking about whenever he's in the topic of gacha is how many fucking gacha games he plays. However, this is what his streams look like. I guess if you don't play gacha games like how Tohu does on stream, where this is a 5-hour stream where he just sits in the same spot doing nothing for 1 hour and 30 minutes. You can see, actually, it's 2 hours into the VOD, he moves. So if you're not playing the game like Tohu Sniper plays the game, which is, I guess you could, if you want to call this playing, sure. Hey, unless you're gonna be playing the game like Tohu, you ain't got real takes like Tohu. Who does this? What this guy also does is he constantly talks about the fact that he's playing 13 gacha games at once and says that he's an expert in the subject area and an expert on everything. Hey guys, if I had 13 different types of food, but 12 of them were for the garbage can, does that suddenly make me a connoisseur of everything when it comes to taste? So is playing a bunch of low quality, actually bad 2D gacha games like fucking Fate Grand Order. You can't tell me that's a good game. That game is dog shit. Bro brags about playing fucking FGO and says that his takes, because he plays and grinds so much FGO, is so much better than everyone else's. Brother, I don't give a fuck what you have to share if your experience comes from FGO. It is literally one of the worst gacha games on the market that only exists because of nostalgia. And this guy is saying, this is like a bro in 2025 saying that they know C. Hey guys, I know a programming language. It's called C. It was made in like the 1970s. I'm an expert at it. I'm gonna succeed. I'm gonna know everything about modern coding because I know C from the fucking 1970s. I know all of y'all are unemployed comp sci majors, so you know how funny that is. He probably won too.
How I think a lot of gacha content creators out there do not play as much gacha as I think they should. It's these people's literal job to play gacha games, at least for the ones who can pay their bills and put food on their tables by making videos about gacha or streaming them or something, and yet it feels like an alarming number of them don't play as much as they should. Jade in her
proof? The take from Tohu Sniper over here is that gacha game CCs aren't playing gacha games enough. Okay, so that implies that there is a mandatory amount that every gacha CC should play. Who decided on what that amount is, and why is it suddenly you, Tohu Sniper? Currently, your occupation is driving around delivering McDonald's to people. What level of expertise do you have in the space to be the arbiter of how much somebody should be playing a game for their takes to be justified?
tweet says that she
Like, how many McDonald's orders do you need to deliver to be considered a proper Uber driver? Do you know those numbers? I would probably think you know those numbers better now, especially given your recent experience. I would trust you with those numbers.
he's playing 6 gachas and used to play
I don't trust you for being a judge, though, of how many gacha games somebody should be playing.
5 more. She even puts her account levels next to each of them. I assume this is because she thinks having a high account level is supposed to be impressive. Well then, if that's the case, allow me to share my own gacha resume with you guys.
So you remember what I said about how this guy in every video talks about how many fucking games he plays? I was actually looking through in this prior clip, the excerpt when he literally did that in this video. I was gonna look for the clip, right? But it's fine. He just did it for me.
You guys right now, if we're gonna call it that. FGO level 166, Azure Lane level 148, Arknights level 120.
Who asked?
Genshin
Who
AR60,
asked?
Blue Archive
Who
level
asked?
90,
Who
Nigate
asked?
account level
Who
703,
asked?
Synchro
Who asked?
562,
Who asked?
Starrail
Who
TL70,
asked?
Ether
Who
Gazer
asked?
level 100,
Who asked?
Snowbreak level
Who
100,
asked?
Woo
Who
UL
asked?
UL80,
Who asked?
Zenless
Who asked?
IL60,
Who asked? Who asked?
GFL2
Who
level
asked? Who
60,
asked?
Exedra level 112. Both BD2 and Uma Musume don't really have account levels as far as
Bro, I don't understand, bro. It's like there's a certain like comedic timing where I feel like he just there's a certain point where you feel like it should stop, but he just keeps going and it's funny.
I can tell, but I still grind those 2 games every day anyway. Horizon Walker level 30.
What the fuck even is this? What the fuck even is this? Human God!
Before. CZN level 43, actually 45 by the time I'm making this video. And Do It Night Abyss TR24, though I've only played a few days of it due to my side hustle taking up time that I would have spent playing DNA. Hopefully, that'll change in the future, though. Yes, that was in fact 18 gacha games that
DNA's not a gacha game, though, retard. Woo! Got him!
I just listed, and since Jade listed the gachas that she's on break from and the ones that aren't out yet, let me do the same here too. I dropped GFL 1, not GFL 2, Crystal Line 1, back in April of last year, and I played that game for 6 years straight since day 1 when it first launched its
Dude. Who asked? Like, who?
NA server for the first time back in May of 2018. I also briefly played Touhou Lost Word and Magia Record, but I dropped those 2 pretty fast since I wasn't really feeling them in terms of gameplay. And for
Bro, if you put as much effort into your Uber hustle as you did your gacha game accounts, bro, you would be earning 6 figures on the platform. Maybe even 7.
future gachas, I got Enfield, Azure Familia, NTE, Ananta, and Silver Palace all on my docket too. Even
Bro, isn't that like 25 games?
after I've rattled off all the account levels for all my gachas, that only scratches the surface of the sheer amount of grind I put into all of them. While I won't go into detail,
What's the basis of this video again? Do content creators even play enough gacha? This is like an alcoholic walking up to you and saying you don't drink enough. This is like a heroin addict walking up to you and saying you don't take enough heroin.
for every single one of my gachas, as that would take too long. What I will say is that every character I have in Genshin is max level, max skill, minus crowns of course, because you can't farm those, and they all have their own weapons and artifact sets because I want all my characters to have gear that they can call their own. Similar story in Star Rail, Zenless, and Wuwa. In his first tweet, Poki first implies that something is stopping him from playing Chaos Zero Nightmare as much as he wants, and then it seems like he specifies what that something is in his second tweet, the fact that it takes a long time and a lot of resources to level up characters. I find this to be very funny, because the game's given out a ton of stamina refreshing items, so that players could binge the game a lot when it first came out.
Because it takes like 30 hours to play this fucking game. It's a hard game to combine with any other gacha because it takes so fucking long to play. It's not that hard to understand. Anyone that plays CZN goes into like the roguelike mode, they know it takes a minute. And so time you spend in one place, you can't spend it somewhere else.
And given that CZN is modeled like a Hoyo game, at least with how its gacha works, I would also assume that, CZN also lets you refresh stamina using gems, albeit, only like 6 times a day or something, but nonetheless, that still means that you can grind the game even harder. Now, some of you may go, well, you should never refresh with gems, man, that's such a waste. And for most players, yeah, I agree, normally it would be a huge waste. Gems are best saved to pull gacha with. But Poki is far from your average gacha player here. Like, he's a gacha streamer who mains Star Rail, and in at least one occasion, even got enough money donated to his ass by his Oilers in chat to fund one of his E6 characters in that.
Maybe this guy just wants, this is the thing. Bro is now at the point where he's trying to dictate how much money people should spend on a game as a CC. Bro is like saying you don't spend enough. I know I'm going to bat for Poki here, but this guy is just that retarded. He's basically saying Poki is not spending enough money. What?
Game. So for a guy like him, whose job is to essentially play gacha games here,
maybe part of his job is that he wants to be, I don't know, relatable? Something that you probably wouldn't understand, Tohu Sniper, because you literally went into debt and had to ask Tectone for money. You begged Tectone for money because you couldn't stop pulling C6 units. You begged Tectone for sponsorships. You begged to be on the Gacha cast. You begged for him to react to your videos because you got into crippling debt because you couldn't stop C6 in characters. Brother, what are you doing giving financial advice to anybody on how they should on how CC should spend money on gacha games?
Refreshing stamina with gems should not be that big of a deal to him. Maybe he actually does refresh stamina in CZN with gems and I just don't know about it. Maybe that second tweet was more intended to be like a...
Well, did you do any research on it? Oh, right. Oh, you probably didn't check to see what he fucking did. You're just going in fucking guns blazing off of 2 tweets he made on the game. And now you're like making takes on like his entire spending habits.
PSA for his followers or something like that, and that leveling up characters in CZN takes a long time, and that, players should be careful with their resources because they're very limited, especially in early game. But looking at the way that his tweets are worded as they are, it really seems like Poki is blaming his inability to play as much of the game as he wants to on the huge investment cost of characters in that game.
No, it's because it takes like fucking hours to build one. Because you gotta do the roguelike ones to get the right upgrades that you want. And so it's up to RNG whether or not you get an upgrade on a run. So you gotta run it a bunch of times. So that's what takes time. That's part of the character. Brother, do you even play CZN? Wait, why is this guy talking about CZN like he has no idea how character progression in that game works? I played it for like 3 hours. And I know that the character progression is inherently tied to RNG. And to build every unit, you would have to do a bunch of runs on all of them to get the right upgrades. Wait, this guy just doesn't even know how CZN works, and he's out here talking about it. Oh, but I thought if you just played 19 gacha games, that all your takes about every game have to be amazing. That's the Tohu Sniper argument. Your takes on gacha games can't be good if you don't play them enough, but if you play them too much, I guess even if your takes are wrong, they're still good? Because what the fuck is Tohu even saying right now? He sounds like somebody that literally has not even touched CZ at a single time.
As an FGO player with 8 whole level 120s, I find his reluctance to grind a gacha game to be both hilarious and depressing. A single level 120 in FGO took me more grind than the entire year and a half that I put into either Zenless or Wuwa. And in my experience, the process...
Is this guy just like bragging about how he went through a terrible character upgrading process in an outdated garbage game like FGO, and that... Bro, this is like somebody going in and then being like, you're in town. You're trying to move around the city. Tohu Sniper walks up with his fucking donkey and buggy carriage while you have like a car. And he's saying like, why aren't you willing to learn how to like drive a donkey like me? Why aren't you learning how to like hold the reins for the donkey like me. I have it so difficult right now. You just want the easy way out. As he, like, is working with the most archaic fucking gacha and character progression system on the planet with fucking FGO. That game got released in, like, 2008, bro. Like, 2011. That shit is outdated as fuck. Who cares?
Of leveling characters in a game like Chaos Zero Nightmare feels relatively similar to a Hoyo game. I mean, I did say earlier that CZN is basically modeled after one, so that...
This is an example of how long it can take to build a unit in CZN. Just a random CZN player in my chat. Chat, it took me 5 days minimum, 3 hours grind a day to get one good save data for my unit. And save data is something that in CZN, you got to do a whole run to get. You get different unique upgrades on your character's abilities. And so you want to do a bunch of runs to get the perfect combo of upgrades and get a good save data. It's all up to RNG. And so, building every unit would literally require an unethical amount of time. And it's not because of stamina. It's not because of gear grinds. It's because of save data RNG. And the fact that this guy is not able to recognize that stamina has nothing to do with save data, is one of the most hilarious bits of misinfo I've ever seen somebody make. Hey, buddy, you better focus up. Maybe if you played more CZN instead of delivering McDonald's, you would have fucking known that, and you wouldn't be in such a ridiculous gap in fucking logic right now.
checks out. So given that Poke mains Star Rail, a Hoyo game, why is he complaining about how long it takes to invest into characters?
You would know that if you knew how save data in CZN fucking worked, you dipshit.
Like, CZN even has an auto mode too. It's not that good.
That you can't use when you're getting save data! He has never played the Chaos mode. I played the game 3 hours for a sponsor, and I know more about the game than Tohu Sniper does. I played the game for 3 hours for a sponsored stream, and I know more about character progression than this guy does. He just said the game has an auto mode. You can't use that auto mode when you're in the roguelike mode to get the save data, which is the biggest part of the character grind. You can't even use it there.
To be fair, but it's better than nothing, so what the f is his excuse? I don't know how much experience Poke has with gacha exactly. I am aware that he started doing gacha content with...
And this is the part that's going to be funny. Tohu has been spreading misinformation about CZN because of his lack of experience playing it, and now he's going to try to clown on other individuals in this video for not playing enough games, when he has already given out an absurd amount of misinformation in just this starting segment alone. Guys, it's a Tohu Sniper video. Did you really think he was going to fucking cook?
Counterside before transitioning to Star Rail, but whether he's played other gachas before Counterside, that I don't know. But assuming he really did start with Counterside, and given that he mains Star Rail, I guess I shouldn't be so surprised that he thinks grinding out characters in CZN takes too long for him. And so my question is this: what is keeping these CCs from playing more gacha?
My question is, does Tohu have a single maxed out character in CZN? Or is he going around making fun of people talking about how hard it is to max out characters in CZN, and he's never maxed one out yet? Oh, wait, Tohu's not at a level where he could max out a CZN character, so Tohu wouldn't even know how much resources you would need to max out a character? So Tohu is out here going around clowning on people for saying it takes too long, but he doesn't know himself how long it takes. Guys, this is like going into a NASA classroom and then saying the people in there are retarded if they failed a test. They're learning about astrophysics and, like, space and shit. Even if they fail a test, they are smarter than you. That's the thing. And Tohu is out here saying that these guys just don't want to put in effort, and he doesn't even know how long it takes. Just like how you are calling NASA students retarded because you don't know what they're learning. All you heard is that they failed a test. And all Tohu heard was that it takes too long to grind. Bro doesn't even know what he's fucking talking about.
Is it because of the personal lifestyles, maybe? Like, I don't know how these people live, obviously. It's not like I know either of these people, either Jade or Poke personally, so I don't want to judge them too harshly off that.
Dude, there is no universe, Tohu, where you should be judging or even considering the idea, the possibility of judging somebody else's lifestyle. You know it's possible to laugh too much in one day? You gotta make sure that you portion it out. Otherwise, you might end up with like a cramp. You could pull a back muscle. But man, this guy's making it really hard.
But in Poke's case, going through his Twitter a bit, he's posted IRL pictures of him flexing in the camera and shit like that. So I assume he spends time in the gym. I admire that. I should start doing that myself with these, twig type looking arms that I got. But then I have to ask, how much time does someone like Poke put into gacha games overall? Maybe his gym workouts don't take that long, but what about the other stuff he does? Like, I know he's big into League of Legends. I'm surprised he and St. Tontus don't get along better. So, how much time does he spend playing League? Some of his tweets are about him watching Worlds recently, so I assume he spends a good bit.
Hey guys, you wanna know one thing I bet Tohu likes eating? I bet Tohu likes eating food. You wanna know what I like too? I like eating food too. Damn, we must be like two peas in a pod, except I'm not retarded.
The time playing too. You can spend your time doing what you want, obviously. I'm not saying that you gotta have gacha on your mind 24/7, like say St. Tontus or that one John Seaman dude on Twitter got Tectone's dick on theirs. I watch other people, like, other streamers and VTubers who have admitted.
Bro, he's like mentioned me 3 times. Bro, he's mentioned me like 2 times in like 10 seconds.
That they don't really play games off stream since they already spend their entire streaming careers doing that anyway. So I get that since you play gacha for hours on stream, maybe you don't want to touch it afterwards once you're done. But regardless of the reasons, that's still time that they are not spending on actually playing gacha.
So let's just say he just said, yeah, they might be spending 7 to 8 hours on stream playing gacha, but then they take a break afterwards. And the problem with that break that they take after spending 7 to 8 hours playing gacha is that that's not time that they're spending playing gacha. If they take a break after a 7 or 8 hour stream, then that means they're not playing gacha, and that's a problem. This guy has no fucking life. He has no friends. He has no hobbies. I don't really know what else to say. The way that he's like wording these things is that if you're like not playing gacha for 15 hours a day, that's an issue. What's wrong with him?
And no, contrary to popular CC behavior, bitching about gacha games or engagement baiting about them on Twitter doesn't count. Actually, just playing other gachas alone still isn't enough.
So, Tohu, is bitching about other creators, does that count as playing a gacha game? Because I'm not going to lie, you probably spent like editing, recording, scripting, all of this. You probably spent like 4 or 5 plus hours, right? Wait, so if you're the self-professed god of gacha, this isn't you playing gacha games. You're not playing gacha games right now. You just spent like 7 to 8 hours recording this video, thinking about it. That's time that you didn't spend playing gacha games. Because you just said complaining about gacha doesn't count. You're complaining about gacha too. So this don't count. So what are you doing? A little bit of a hypocrite over here.
Remember, people play gachas for sponsors, and they don't give a rat's ass about those games afterwards once the sponsorship is done. Gacha CCs shouldn't just play more gacha, they should actually have a genuine interest in learning how other gachas work. This ain't like you're stuck in the
Oh, you mean like the genuine interest that you had in learning how the fuck CZN's progression works? Oh, wait, you had in this video, an entire 8-minute segment where you just proceeded to bash on Mr. Pokey for his CZN complaints when you have no idea how anything even works in CZN. You are literally, I do believe, Tohu, you use the phrase tourist as a demeaning way to refer to players who don't play games as much as you. You are the biggest fucking CZN tourist I've ever seen, where I play the game 3 hours for a sponsor and I know more about it than you do.
office cubicle for 8 or 9 hours straight. I would know. I worked in one for 7 years. You play video games for a living. Like, what are you so scared of playing them for? The reason why I think this is such a huge issue is because gacha CCs, just from my own observations, don't know enough about gacha games in general to put out informed, educated takes consistently enough in this space.
Coming from the guy who, again, went on an 8-minute tirade about CZN when he knows nothing about the fucking game. Yeah, I don't know. This point doesn't really stick as much, and it doesn't mean as much coming from Tohu after this absurd fucking blunder that he made across this entire subsection of the video. I don't know. I don't really find that much faith in what he's saying. Not much stock.
Like, I don't need to tell you this, but every month or so, or hell, even every few weeks or so, there's always some kind of drama that makes the rounds on gacha Twitter or just social media in general. And almost every time I look inside, right, it's some f***ass retarded take that gets spread around like Captain Cabinet spreads her legs for St. Tontus, or was it Itoma? Same difference.
Oh, I see. Now we're taking the Ryuku path as well. We're gonna fan fiction in our videos. We're gonna create fan fiction about relationships between CCs. Maybe the Uber business needs to start picking up, brother. Because I think if you're more busy with orders, your brain will have less time to construct these retarded narratives. We already gave you the advice of get a job. This over here might be the need, the necessity of you to get a second job. Because clearly, when you have free time, you don't do anything productive with it. If the shit that you're going to go with is headcanoning fictional relationships between CCs while you're busy begging for tips across the neighborhood.
People spread their own cheeks to blast out their own dog shit takes in response to the first one. That whole debate / drama about whose gameplay is better between Genshin or WoA, yeah, that's one. Another is Stick's moral jerking himself over gachas like GFL 2 or Stella Sora. His recent take on the Koreans forcing Yosar to remove an animation from Stella Sora that they didn't like shows that he has absolutely zero clue as to why they did that. And while, yes, I also agree that the Korean players' reaction there was pretty extreme, that doesn't change the fact that Sticks here, in this situation, comes off as your stereotypical, ignorant, stupid, retarded American, talking about shit he has no idea about, and just injecting his own high horse moral dog shit into the whole thing.
Guys, I'm pretty sure Tohu Sniper is also an American.
How much of that did he do back in the MMO space, I wonder? And don't even get me started on the rats. They'll get their own video, hopefully sooner rather than later. And even more so than individual content creators, the gacha space in general has misinformation and bad takes circulating constantly, day in, day out.
Like how CZN, you can just pay stamina to build your units? Because that's the Tohu Sniper take on CZN, right? CZN's units are super easy to build. All you need to do is just refresh stamina, and then you can build them all, right? Because, like, that was the information you were peddling for about 8 minutes over here, right, Tohu? And that you can just auto everything, too. Like how I auto my chaos stages. Oh, yeah, right? So this whole disgusting act from all these CCs where we're going out and we're spreading misinformation. We're not playing games enough to know more about them. We're doing moral grandstanding. Oh, all of that. Tohu, maybe you are right, because you would know firsthand, based off of the start of this video, you would know firsthand what it looks like when somebody does that. Because you yourself have done all of these things that you're attempting to indict other individuals for. And the funniest fucking part is that it's in your own video. The funniest fucking part is that it's literally right before this entire segment.
Gacha players on Twitter love to tribalize their gachas. Hoyotards attacking Wuwa cucks who then return the favor twofold. They attack the developers for shit like not giving their characters enough melanin or not enough rewards for anniversary. And no matter how justified they may be in their opinions, they invariably react with shit like, I don't know, review bombing completely unrelated apps and doing social media boycotts. Damn, sure showed Hoyo now, didn't they? And display other parentless behavior that suit, crackheads who live behind the corner gas station and scream at random people walking by at 1 in the morning. It's not even...
The funny thing is that in every Tohu video, 90% of it is dog shit, but then like a little bit of it, he actually spits. This is the part of the video where he spits just a little bit. And there's always like a little like nugget, a little bit of like actual worth in his vids, but it's only like 1 or 2 crumbs.
Even just within the gacha space that I see bad takes about gacha. Anywhere you go online where there isn't like a specific focus on gacha, where the target audience doesn't really care for gacha games, people hella judge them and the people who play them, right? Pay-to-win games. Oh, gacha games have no gameplay. They're just slot machine gambling games.
I do think that gacha players are the most mind-broken community.
Well, yeah, if there are people out there saying FGO is a good game, you are mind-broken. I don't think that there's anybody that isn't hopelessly addicted to gacha. There's not a single person that will say FGO is a good game unless they are just addicted. They are mind broken by gacha. You don't play FGO in 2025 unless you are mind broken by gacha, because the game is a piece of shit.
Of any video game. Because there is no way that you can play a turn-based video game like Honkai Star Rail and say it's generous because you only have to spend $200 to get character.
That too.
Time I hang out in Maximilian Dude's stream, for example, when he's live reacting to a game show like, I don't know, Sony State of Play or something, or the Game Awards, and a gacha game shows up, his entire chat just goes all...
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Very...
Probably because whenever somebody thinks of a gacha game player, Tohu, they think about somebody that looks like you. Like, literally, you are... When people think of, like, the no! It's not because of the games. The no is because of the people playing them. And the no is because of you. I don't think you understand the reason for the negative stigma in the gacha space. It's because of you retard. Because you do shit like this with your wispy ass, like fucking Fu Man nothing mustache, whatever the fuck pubic hair you have going on with your chin, and then like the fucking haircut that looks like you go once every 3 months and only when it starts getting in your ears, and then for the fucking shit in your background that you were just displaying proudly. Brother, for 99% of the population, you couldn't waterboard this out of 90% of people in the population. You couldn't waterboard admission of these details out, but you're just showing all of it for free. And because you're so confident being such a fucking loser, that's why normies do this.
No! No! No!
You're the reason why this reaction is the most common one. It's you. Stop being a fucking weirdo.
No! No!
Very few, if any, gacha CCs out there, from my perspective at least, are capable or knowledgeable enough to talk about the very genre they play. I don't mean...
Remember, guys, this is the Tohu sniper take. He was the person that was just spreading the most misinformation I've ever seen someone spread about CZN, and he's the one telling you other CCs aren't putting in enough work.
This in a, oh, Pokey doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to Star Rail kind of way. Obviously he does. I'm sure he knows way more about that game than I will ever care to. But when...
Why did I win the debate against Pokey then? When we were talking about HSR's power creep. Are we sure about that one? Because I remember asking Mr. Pokey, what is Robin's best team? And he didn't say follow-up attacks. So does he actually know that much about the game? Maybe he does now.
he starts talking about power creep in Star Rail, blames the player, and says it's their fault for letting power creep become a problem.
Oh, good reference.
In the first place, I kind of scratch my head here and go all... So, how much exactly did Hoyo pay you to defend them? I mean, Pokey does live in Singapore after all, and Hoyo also got their Cognisphere shell company down there too, so... Or when he makes not just one, but two whole-ass videos glazing the fuck out of Star Rail's story as like the best story in any gacha game. Peak cinema as the meme goes. Gee, I wonder if he's ever played other gachas like, I don't know, FGO, or Limbus Company, or Nikkei, or Heaven Burns Red.
I mean, the main thing is that he might have played those games, but yes, he is being paid by Hoyoverse to pretend that the shit is good. I mean, it's just... Does anyone even think the opposite is taking place? Does anyone think that Pokey isn't being paid to lie about HSR? All right, who thinks Pokey is telling the truth about HSR 100% of the time? Who thinks Pokey is telling the truth all the time about HSR? He's never lied about HSR. Type 1 if Pokey has never lied about HSR. And we gotta get some of his viewers in here. This is not looking good.
I'm gonna guess no. And many such cases like this exist out there for lots of the bigger gacha CCs in this space, in that a gacha CC who makes a living off playing gacha in some way, shape, or form puts out a take about gacha that could definitely use some more nuance that they simply don't have.
Well, Tohu, much like how I said I would trust your expertise for Uber drivers because you are one, you were never a gacha CC putting out regular content, so I cannot trust your take over here. You are basically the poser. You are talking about the expectations of a role that you've never had. So how would you know them? You don't know what success is as a CC. You only know what failure is. And so if somebody walked up to you and they wanted your opinion for how to fail as a CC, you would give the best fucking advice possible. But for advice on how to succeed as one and what constitutes as a good CC, no, you're not an eligible participant to be giving that because you've never been on any side of that equation.
You may ask, well, why does all that matter? Like, what's it to you if gacha streamers and YouTubers don't know as much as you think they should about gacha? You can make content out of games that you don't fully understand. Not like there's a law forbidding that or anything. You don't need to play double-digit gachas like I do just to get a sense for how gacha games work, right?
Yeah, but even if you do play double-digit gachas, you will still find some sort of way to not fucking know how a game works. Just take CZN, for example.
Sure, you're right about those things. Obviously, you don't have to play double-digit gacha games like I do, or play so much gacha to the point where you fall asleep playing them after coming home from work.
But sometimes you can play them too much to the point where they all start meshing together, and you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about anymore. Kind of like how he did for CZN.
But there's a reason why that still matters. Actually, there's a short-term reason and a long-term one. The short-term reason is because if you have more content creators who know the genre that they are making a living off of...
So unlike you and CZN.
More community leaders who can course-correct a potential narrative that's gone astray. They can use their influence to put people back onto the right path instead of going off the deep end, chasing after batshit insane takes or agendas being pushed by people who care for nothing more than their own games. Here's an example. In the fighting game community, or FGC for short, there was a tweet that went viral some time ago where someone complained about how they felt like Street Fighter 6, the current Street Fighter game, is the only game where kids can beat veteran players, and that you'd never see this happen in older fighting games like Third Strike. While that may seem like a reasonable take to a tourist or like a surface level player, actual veterans and FGC creators put out their own takes pretty quickly, countering that narrative by saying that it's not just Street Fighter 6, that's literally how fighting games have always been. Younger players have always been able to break into the top echelons of fighting game competition in any fighting game. It's just that Street Fighter 6 provides more opportunities for younger players to participate in top level competition, so you tend to see younger players more in that game. That and get good.
What does this have to do with anything?
In this situation, FGC creators were able to shut down a bad take that was going around in the community at the time because they had the experience playing enough fighting games to know better. It also helps greatly that a lot of those creators have been part of the FGC, playing fighting games and attending tournaments for them for years.
Yes, and retard, in the similar... Oh my gosh, this guy is literally just... He's so lost in the sauce because he's so blinded by hate. It's actually absurd that an individual of, like, this caliber can be, like, this legitimately obtuse when it comes to constructing his own points, because he literally just disproves himself, like, right fucking... I'll find the spot. He literally disproves himself right here. Y'all remember the start of the video where he was like bitching and moaning about takes on Twitter? This was misinformation put out by a Genshin Impact player about how Wuthering Waves' combat is dog shit and had lacked depth. And then Glaive Keo and I proceeded to post response videos about why this guy is a fucking idiot. Oh wait, so that's Wuwa CC's correcting misinformation about their game, much like how in this supposed example you have over here about the FGC players corrected misinfo about their game. Oh, but when Wuwa does it, it's not good because, well, you got shunned out of the gacha space for being a pathetic loser. But in FGC, you got no idea what the fuck is going on, so that example's fine. That's essentially what's going on over here.
I didn't get good. In the situation, FGC creators were able to shut down a bad take that was going around in the community at the time because they had the experience playing enough fighting games to know better.
Yep, and Glaive and I had the experience playing Wuthering Waves to be able to say, yeah, whatever this Plume of Death guy is saying about how Wuba's combat has no depth, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
It also helps greatly that a lot of those creators have been part of the FGC, playing fighting games and attending tournaments for them for years, decades even. Or in other words, they got the pedigrees or the resumes to back their shit up.
Yeah, same exact shit over here. So basically, the situation's going on is that, yeah, the Wuwa community, the FGC community are one-to-one when it comes to this.
Obviously, it's kind of a stretch to compare fighting games with gacha
And remember, Tohu's just glazing the shit about how this FGC dynamic is working out.
games. But the point I'm trying to make here is that if the gacha community has more CCs who know what they're talking about when it comes to gacha games in general as an entire genre,
So I've already explained to you that this dynamic exists. So Tohu is just... he's just blowing air right now. I don't know how else to say this. He's just blowing air.
then you wouldn't see as much drama and tribalism and sheer vitriol among gacha players on social media. Granted, there will still be a lot of drama regardless, but at the very least, there will be more people out there who will better understand what's really going on if their favorite creators are there to tell them, no, actually, this is what's really going on.
This guy is so goofy because that's literally what happened. That is literally what occurred. And the fact that this guy just seems to be like denying reality and just refusing to even look at a literal example of where he's describing this because he's so upset, it's genuinely ridiculous. Because Glaive had this video over here where he talks about that literal tweet from Plume of Death corrects the misinfo. He literally corrects the misinfo portrayed in that tweet. It's the same Plume of Death one. Uploads an entire video, and then, of course, make sure to reference my own video as well, where I also cover the tweet and talk about the misinfo. So this exact dynamic of CCs who know the games enough to be able to correct misinformative takes is right there. But he just doesn't want to consider it valid because it's people he doesn't like. But that's another part about being a good CC, Tohu. It's being able to recognize even situations or recognize examples even if you don't like the parties involved. That's why I actually went to bat for Mr. Pokey a bit over here, because you were generally a fucking dipshit about CZN. Even if I don't like the guy, I still made sure to give him a fair shake.
Instead of whatever dog shit gacha drama just tears through Twitter with no one there to stop it from spreading like your average California wildfire, sometimes to the point where it breaches containment and non-gacha players start seeing that shit too.
I love, again, he starts talking about, he's like talking about this drama over here. He's talking about this one like there weren't numerous responses made to it. He's talking about it like there weren't numerous responses made to this one. He even refers to it as dumb gacha Twitter drama. He even refers to it as dumb fucking gacha Twitter drama. I'm not gonna lie, this is a little bit, looks like bro got a little bit caught up over here.
Certainly doesn't help that the rats will always be there to throw some more gas into the fire too whenever they feel like it benefits them. Imagine using an Ellen Joe cosplayer's suicide as just another way to throw shade at the Hoyo community. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, that was a bit of a that was a bit of a crazy move from John Seaman over there. I don't think anyone really approves of that one.
But I'll save that for another video. Plus, people...
Yeah, it's a Hoyo thing to use the death of individuals. It was a big thing when, I believe, either an Indian or like a Southeast Asian couple named their kid Kartithia. And, like, the kid was, like, miscarried or something, and then Hoyo shows were, like, making fun of it on Twitter, saying that it was, like, deserved because her name was Kartithia. Yeah, it was, like, Indonesian, right? Yeah. So like that's something that literally happened, and I'm like, yeah, no, it's a Hoyo thing to do to make fun of people for that sort of thing. So yeah, John, you're a bit of a dipshit there.
Who see their favorite gacha streamers or YouTubers play other games that aren't just the usual Big Four slop, and they see that they're genuinely enjoying those games, outside of sponsorships of course, might make them want to try out those games for themselves too, whether out of genuine interest or just simple curiosity. Not everyone will, of course, right? Obviously, lots of people are fine just sticking with the gacha games they already know and play, but gacha CCs playing other gachas that aren't just the popular ones creates the opportunity for at least some of their viewers to want to try them out too, and that's how you increase this community's overall gacha literacy.
This guy is talking about all these things like there aren't CCs that do that, but there like are. It's just maybe this guy is just like so detached, he has no idea what's going on. Bro seems like a time traveler that from like 3 years ago that hasn't kept up with anything, and then is like coming in with like a whole thesis. He's coming in with like a whole analysis, a whole breakdown of what everybody should be doing. And it's just like, oh, everyone's already doing this.
Long-term reason why this is such a big deal is because of how the gacha community has turned out over the last 5 years. Gacha players are always bickering and arguing over something retarded on Twitter, either with themselves or with the people who make the gacha games they play. Gacha content creators have congregated around the biggest and most popular gachas out there with very little willingness to try out other gachas without a sponsorship, and of course, the rats exist. Gacha games have a reputation.
The rats exist? I like how bro just doesn't even say anything because he knows that I've already dismantled every single take he's ever made against me and then proceeded to turn it on him. I've dismantled every single one, so I don't think he even says anything about me in videos anymore. He doesn't even try to make an argument. He just says Saint Bad. Tohu just says Saint Bad and nothing else. He's decided not to. I think he's scared.
Gacha games have a reputation outside the space for being...
I have to genuinely think he's scared now. Like, he won't actually expand on any point anymore.
Mindless gamble games that are no better than like virtual casinos that bait their players in with hot anime girls and dudes, and gacha players themselves also have a reputation for being mindless drones who routinely feed money into the pockets of evil gacha game developers, among other things. As someone who cares about gacha games not just individually but as an entire...
What is this? Bro, like moral grandstanding? I'm not, I honestly, everything he's saying is like going over my head because it sounds like so like...
genre. I ain't a fan of that, bruh. I don't think people should think of gacha games...
He is moral grandstanding right now.
...or people who play them just based off their reputations alone, no matter how much truth there is.
Bro's talking about, like, the fucking ethics and humanities of gacha.
...to them. I'm not saying that there's no truth to them whatsoever. I'm just saying that, as with everything in life, there's a lot more nuance to this that I'd like people to try to understand.
Bro, you're an Uber driver. Why you try to get all philosophical?
Gacha players included. And so having gacha content creators who know what they're talking about when it comes to gacha games is extremely important to help reverse that reputational damage that's been done. Ideally, we should have had gacha CCs like that from the start, back when Genshin first hit the streets like crack cocaine hit the projects back in the 60s, who were already very knowledgeable in gacha games and could help steer the newfound gacha audience that came with Genshin out here in the West in the right direction. By the way, this could be a whole ass video on its own too. But in the meantime...
Bro's basically saying Tohu Sniper was actually the chosen one. I am the person that has all of the key knowledge to make this a success. I've had it all along. And the fact that you guys, you gacha community, you didn't choose me. You chose that big bald motherfucker who ruined my life. You chose Tectone instead of me, Tohu. Look at what you guys did. You did this. You made the space so bad because you chose Tectone instead of Tohu. It was Tohu, but you put in Tech. You were supposed to put in Who, but you would put in Tone. Look what happened. How pathetic is this, man?
Long story short, that didn't happen, which was both quite unfortunate and has contributed heavily to that reputational damage that I talked about gacha games and gacha players incurring over the years. But that doesn't mean that I think the damage is completely irreversible.
Brother's talking about the negative reputation of gacha games. Brother, like we said before, the negative reputation of gacha games ain't because of dudes like M-Tash, Tectone, or any of that. It's because of you fucking loser. You're the reason. I already talked about this. How are you even trying to blame anybody else for anybody having negative impressions about gacha players and gacha as a whole when you've been out here busting this everywhere for the past couple of years? This has been your background. Like, brother, if there's any negative connotation with gacha players, you are the embodiment of it. The natural room color of this room is white. It's yellow now. You want to know how I know? Because this dude's face is fucking white and the background's yellow. Wouldn't the background be white too if this was a white fucking room? Why is his face white but the room's yellow? Anyways.
Matter of fact, I think that the gacha space is still redeemable. Very much so. It is possible to teach both gacha players and outsiders about what gacha games are really like, without any of the bullshit or the stigma surrounding them. The problem is that you need gacha content creators there to pave that path.
So let's just think about it this way, guys. Gacha content creators are all doing the exact thing that Tuhu is saying that people should be doing. And this is how I know, guys. The background of this room is white. Sorry, I just want to reiterate that. The background of this room is white. This one's yellow. The lighting is the same on his face. This one's white. This one is yellow. There must be some crazy dank stank in there.
To trailblaze the way forward, so to speak. And in my eyes, unfortunately, there just isn't anyone else out there like that, other than yours truly.
There ain't anyone else out there like yours truly. There ain't nobody else out there that can spread misinformation about CZN like me. There's nobody else out there that can just confidently say, can't you just spend more energy? Can't you just auto everything in CZN? Because that's what you did over here for 8 minutes, motherfucker. So I don't think you're eligible for this position either, dipshit.
There are some who I think come close, but they either still fall short of
how this motherfucker saying himself right after leading up this video with the most misinfo I've seen about a game before.
Having what it takes to
that's just crazy.
Shoulder that kind of responsibility, or they just haven't shown the willingness to do so. And in a space where the average person on social media cares more about a $200 skin ruining a gacha game than a dude who cares about bringing an AR-15 into a crowded public area.
Private in what? Wait, is he just making shit up right now? I don't have a single privated video on my channel. Okay, here we go, guys. You ready to see how many private videos I have? You see over here, right? All of my videos. This is my internal YouTube studio look. All of my videos, right? You can see no filters at the top. Then I'm going to go to visibility, then choose private. Y'all ready? You ready to see how many I have? An unuploaded EXE reaction. An unuploaded EXE reaction from December 27, 2024. That is the only fucking private video I have. The only one I have. And this guy is going out and actively spreading the misinfo that I'm privating videos?
Dude who cares about bringing an AR-15 into a crowded public area.
Huh? I said that to a chatter. And then that same chatter accused me of being homophobic. Because I said I didn't like them. Because they were gay. Yeah, I said that to a chatter, and then that same chatter afterwards said I was homophobic because I didn't like them. And then they told me that's because they were gay. And so it's homophobic, at least to them, to not like a gay person. And so clearly that person has a fucking mental illness. And so I said, I hope you don't bring an AR into a public place because you clearly aren't right up there. And I don't know. I think I was right because the same person accused me of being homophobic because I said I didn't like them because they wrote stupid shit in my chat. And then they said, it's because I'm gay. And because you don't like me and I'm gay, you must be homophobic. I don't know. If anything, what I said must have been pretty reasonable. So I'm glad I could provide the context for you over here while Tohu Sniper attempts to assassinate my reputation by implying that I privated videos where bad things get said, yet I don't have a single privated video on my entire YouTube. Not a single one. Really interesting how that works, guys. Really interesting how... So yeah, let's just say Tohu doctored this. He made this. He literally made this up. He made this in Photoshop and then is trying to say that this is my channel. Because guess what, guys? You can't actually get that look from clicking on any of my videos. Because I don't have any private videos. You would have to have gotten the original link. I never uploaded this one. So you can't even use this. There is no link for this one. So yeah, he just doctored somebody else's thumbnail and is attributing it to me.
I think that's a bit concerning. But like I said, in a certain...
Oh, you think that's concerning? Proof? How would you think it's concerning if A, you've never seen what you're talking about? Oh wait, Tohu, I forgot that you're the guy that likes to speak as an expert about things that you have no idea about. Much like how you spoke like an expert about CZN and said about CZN that you can just spend stamina and auto everything. Right, I forgot. This is your bread and butter now.
Other video of mine earlier this year, if what it takes to get the ball rolling on the path forward is one man, alone, betrayed by the community he loves, then so be it. I'll do it. To end the video, I want to talk about one last thing. You may deduce, given what I've been talking about so far in this video and my propensity to call myself the god of gacha sometimes in my previous videos, that I unironically see myself as such, that I view myself as the savior of gacha games. And
This guy got a crazy build. I will be honest. I had never seen no god who got arms that look like this. Bro looks like a bug in character creation.
I look down upon the rest of you Gentiles from atop my ivory gacha tower with 18 floors to it and counting. If that's what you want to think of me, then hey.
Bro, did he somehow jiggle? Wait, I want to see his arm real fast. Wait, I think I just saw his arm jiggle.
Atop my ivory gacha tower with 18 floors to it and counting. If that's what you want to think of me, then hey.
How are you so small yet your arm still jiggles?
Think of me, then
How does somebody this skinny still jiggle?
hey. That's cool.
How out of shape is this guy? Bro's that small and still jiggles? That's crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think this guy has lifted anything except his credit card his entire life.
I ain't got a problem. Psyche seems to think that too. So
Jesus Christ.
cool. I ain't got a problem. Psyche seems to.
Did he just get... Wait, he has DMs from Psyche? Wait, why did he decide to link DMs from Psyche? Wait, let's read this. Hey, Two, so I debated whether to contact you about this, but I thought I'd give my 2 cents on the situation. I saw your latest video and I thought it was a great watch. I think in an ideal scenario, someone would want a content space where everyone has something unique to offer, except realistically, that's never happening. And I think deep down, you know that. Something I think you should know is I've heard rumors from people connected to the inner circle of content creators that label you as free content. But because to them, you're literally providing free content and feeding them. Well, yeah, because he's just really fucking dumb. And so it's like, I can just like, it is free content because his points are so bad and he's so stupid. Like, and then he's just always taking shots at me. So I'm like, I'm literally on the moral high ground farming the fuck out of him. No one can get mad at me for farming this video. No one can get mad at me for farming this guy. And if you are, all I need to do is say, he did it first, bro. Drama clickbait shills will always exist, not just in the gacha space. These people may look brain dead on the surface, but I can assure you, they're just businessmen that will do whatever it takes to simply increase their views and influence. To be honest, if I was them, I'd probably do similar things, just maybe to a less egregious effort. So, Psyche over here is still butthurt that he made a dog shit video about DNA, and he also made a dog shit video about Wubon, and he got called out for being bad, and he's just butthurt about it for hella long. That's just what it is. Anyways, yeah, it's natural consequences of gacha going mainstream. Due to the profit motive, it's all but guaranteed that people try to find ways to minimize effort and maximize profit. And I don't see what trying to police this simple reality is going to try to bring any sort of meaningful change. Hope you can get past this invisible crusade you're fighting inside your head and see the futility of trying to be this guardian or savior of the... So, did this guy just leak Psyche's DMs where Psyche just calls him mentally ill? I don't even... Dude, I'm like crying. Why would he do this? Why would he do this? What the fuck? What the fuck? Bro literally says you gotta stop fighting with the demons in your head. And Toho was like, yeah, I should post this, bro. What the fuck? Dude, why is this, dude? This has to be, I'm telling you, this has to be the most unintentionally funny guy I've ever seen. Like, you can tell, too, he's not trying to be funny. That's what makes it funny. He's out here. He's like, I'm gonna cook with this one. Oh, these clowns won't see what I have prepared. And then it's this, bro. The guy that you hot tagged in. It's like the WWE. It's like tag team wrestling. He's like, go, Psyche. And then Psyche just wallops you in the fucking face with that last sentence. What are you doing? You made this video. You edited it. This is not like live on stream. Nothing took you for a surprise. Why the fuck would you put this in here? I hope you can get past this invisible crusade you're fighting inside your head and see the futility of trying to be this guardian or savior. Brother, he is calling you mentally ill. He is basically saying, but not saying, you have schizophrenia.
Think that too, so you're not alone. Besides, people already call me like the god of unemployment and the god of beggars, mainly thanks to this trailer track
Now you're the god of schizophrenia, bro.
here. Actually, I want to point out how funny I think it is that he's the unemployed one now that he's had to sell his house and his ass still banned off Twitch, so hey, whatever you think of me.
You do realize he has a second house, right? You do realize he sold his original house and bought a new one. Bro, he just took somebody moving from one house to another. They moved, but he called them homeless because they're not at their first house anymore. This is also the guy, too, that you begged for money. You begged for a gamer sub sponsor. You begged to be on GachaCast. You begged him to raid you. You begged him to react to your videos. Dude, just stop it.
That's cool. Free country where I'm from, so they say. So that means that people have the freedom to be fucking retarded too. That Andrew Tate wannabe from before is a perfect example. But
yeah, it's a free country. You're right. It's a free... It's a free country. Please. Oh no. Oh no, please. Two, please. I need this. I need this. My son, he's kind of jobless. He's working at Uber. I'm trying to help him out. Like requiring like...
But let me make one thing very fucking clear here. My number one goal is to help people get into gacha games and enjoy them for what they are without being destructive to themselves.
Brother, if that's your number one goal, then your number one obstacle is your mustache that's keeping people from watching your fucking videos. So shave that shit, you idiot.
Or others. For example, recently on stream, I had a dude who found my YouTube channel just randomly while I was streaming Lua because the algorithm somehow recommended it to him, and he was like, "Whoa, oh shit, what's this game? Right? Look, it looks cool." And I was like, "It's called Wuthering Waves. You should try it. You should try it out if it looks cool." And now he is. On top of grinding Lua now, thanks to his friend, he's now checking out other gachas like Nikkei and Zenless. And whenever he's got questions about those games, I answer them for him because I already play all of them. I do this not because I think I'm the only one fit for the job, but because I'm the only one who wants to.
Bro, this guy's build is diabolical. I'm sorry. I just let's just like look at the build for a second. Bro, he does not look like a human. Bro, he looks like an alien. Bro, you know what Tohu looks like? Wait, like I know what he looks like. Let me go find it. It's in here. Yeah. No, it's this. That right there. That is it. That is it. The same photo. The same big-ass head, tiny-ass arms, and weird-looking fucking body. That's the same photo. Same photo.
I am just a guy who likes gacha a lot. Some may say a bit too much, but it's precisely because I spent a ton of time playing these stupid gamble games, and at one point also spent a lot of money on them too, that lets me say the shit I've said so far.
Tohu, you going bankrupt from C6ing characters doesn't really give you any, like, leg to stand on in, like, any conversation, except when you go to, like, the gambling version of Alcoholics Anonymous every weekend.
Ultimately, the type of shit comes out of my mouth weighs more than whatever dog shit comes out of the others.
Hey guys, because I've literally gone broke from playing gacha games, what I say means more. What? Wait, he literally just played the I've gone homeless playing gacha, so I know more about it than you do.
Even more sad is that
You know what the nice thing is, though? When you're homeless, like, people can take your shit. Like, people can just walk out to you, right? And, like, grab your tent and shit and just walk off with all your stuff. You want to know what they can't take away from you? Your gacha accounts. Think about it that way. You might have lost everything in your life, but you'll probably still have your gacha accounts. They can repossess your car. They can repossess, like, your furniture. I don't think they can repossess your C6 Arlecchino.
I should not be the only one like this. There are other creators out there who also have invested a lot of their own resources, be it time or money or both, into gacha games, and yet they stick to their own audiences. And even for the CCs who haven't put in like a ton of time or money into gacha games, they can at least show more interest in gacha as a genre and strive to learn more about it. I mean, it is their job to play gacha, right? If a guy like
Yeah, so why don't you shut the fuck up and take your own advice and figure out how the fuck progression in CZN works?
me can work 5 to 8 hours on a side hustle, still come back home to stream 18 different gacha games, surely they can take some time out of their day to diversify their own gacha resumes too, right?
I've never seen somebody brag about delivering Uber orders. Like, I've never seen somebody, like, flex delivering McDonald's to people this much before. And, like, the thing is, it's like, you can't even feel bad for him either because his ego is, like, so big while he's doing it.
And they do know that gachas aren't just the big four. Like, I get that streaming or making content on the big four gachas helps pay the bills mainly, but hey, you can pick up a side.
Tuhu, you wouldn't know anything about paying bills. What are you doing? What is bro actually dropping the job employment photo in his videos? Wait, bro, guys, the fact that he's talking about, like, bragging about having a job and then the job that he has is Uber driver is just... My last Uber driver, Tuhu, didn't know how to speak English. Like, people that literally can't communicate are able to get this job. The barrier for entry, the bar is like, I think you might just need to have a pulse. That might be the barrier of entry, a pulse and a driver's license. So what are we doing out here flexing it like we've fucking created the Rosetta Stone? What the fuck?
I'd hustle to help make ends meet too, just like I did. Oh, what's that? You don't want to? Gacha is just a bag for you, and you don't actually care about gacha games. You just got into it because you just got lucky with Genshin's popularity back in the day, and now it helps pay your bills, and you don't want to pivot to anything else? And these are the kinds of people you watch for gacha content? One man! Thanks for watching. Like the video if you care about real gacha content, and subscribe for more.
Care about real? What? Like and subscribe, care about real gacha content. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you thought, peace.
You could be so much more, made for the moment in the era I forged. Live from the minutes where the legends are born, and the myths are forever when they pen our lore. I hear every echo inside of the roar clear. I feel all the hopes inside of the same fear. The shadows that faded out, all the lights in the same years when they tell us that it's gone, but yo, I'm still here. Run it back, quarter on one cab, when 99 seconds is everything y'all have. Prove yourself worthy, eliminate. Tell them to hold that, roll back. I don't see any limit, they're lacking the vision and asking why the hell I would risk it. I'm basically different, I'm everything they say that I isn't. The arcade era live in my spirit. Don't tell me to move on, soon as all the pressure gets too strong. Feel like I was born here for something to prove wrong. When was that moment when you felt that sound? I heard the crowd shake ground, screaming one more round. Let the lights flash over the main stage, I'm still brave, battling the giants are still made. The will face, test that choice, ignite the fire, have a brand new age when they hear my voice.
Evolve till I'm more than what they ask of me, till I fly in ways you can't believe, through a sky I know, on a blue horizon, in a dream I hope. My hands keep shaking, but my heart keeps strong, though my legs keep aching, my voice keeps on, my soul keeps rising as I sing my song. I can hold my own till those clouds
with the pressure, so I survive. The reinforcement of that is my 9 to 5. I've been played and beat down. This is the rebound. All systems go because I've arrived. When is the only option? Second is unacceptable. Wake up to the music and cranking a couple decibels. Style is impetuous, defense impregnable. This is the beginning. Imagine your boy at level 2. My brothers is tenured. We run in the trenches, so coming against us is utterly senseless. I didn't know it was in me, but now I know it for sure. Number 1 contender. As soon as I hit the door, hurt y'all on the war. Now jaws on the floor. My style is revered like art on the wall. If they ain't in the know, better keep them informed. Evolution's constant, and this ain't my final form.
till I'm more than what they ask of me, till I fly in ways you can't believe, through a sky I know,
push it down. I got next. I'll be strong. Prove myself. I'm still here. Quarters down. Infinity. Infinity. Infinity.
世界はこの手に